And now let's turn our attention to the war in Ukraine. Winter has arrived and Russia is taking advantage. NATO is the latest to say this. It says the Russian President Vladimir Putin is weaponizing winter. Those are strong words. What do they mean for the people of Ukraine? Of course, Russia denies doing so. Let's first take a closer look at what's happening on ground. We'll start with what the NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said. Listen in.
President Putin is now trying to use a weapon, use the winter as a weapon of war against Ukraine. And this is horrific, and we need to be prepared for more attacks. That's the reason why NATO allies have stepped up their support to Ukraine.
If this sounds familiar to you, it's because Ukraine has been warning the world about this for a while. Russia has been accused of bombing Ukraine's energy infrastructure on purpose. Last week's attacks knocked out large parts of Ukraine's power grid. The grid still hasn't been completely restored. Kyiv says Moscow's aim was to freeze the country into submission. Moscow denies that it intentionally harmed civilians, but the result is the same. Ukraine's people are struggling to keep warm. Let me now show you what the people are facing. We'll start with the recaptured city of Kherson. People there are being evacuated.
There's neither water nor electricity in Kherson. It is so difficult. My apartment is cold as there is no heating. My nerves are giving up, as the saying goes. So my family decided that I should leave, as the evacuation is for free and people are running out of money.
No water or electricity. Remember, the temperatures are near zero. Water is freezing over. People need electricity to heat the water and their homes. Some Ukrainians are using more basic methods simply to stay warm.
Today I was at work. A woman asked me to chop some wood. She saw her own cherry trees, apricot trees that grow at home, because you need to heat your house up somehow. They promised to bring us 100 cubic meters of logs. But how much is that? It will last for a week.
This man is from the eastern Donetsk region. Residents there are going back to chopping wood. But that's dangerous too. They say the woods are filled with Russian landmines. And now let's take a look at Kyiv. People are going to aid stations set up around the capital, aid stations. And Ukraine has named them invincibility centers. Refugees are flocking to the capital, gathering at these so-called invincibility centers. They have children with them. So in a sense, these are survival centers.
It is the second day we are without power and food. More than 60 children are waiting for food and we cannot prepare anything unless power gets fixed. We need someone to help us prepare hot food for children. The kids have not eaten since yesterday. We need help.
So what are Ukraine's allies doing about this? Well, NATO members met earlier on Tuesday. They discussed the damage to Ukraine's energy infrastructure and announced some measures to help fix the power crisis. Listen in.
We have delivered generators, we have delivered spare parts, and the allies are in different ways helping to rebuild the destroyed infrastructure. We need to realize that there are enormous effects of the attacks. The Ukrainians are able to shoot down many of the incoming missiles and drones, but not all of them. And therefore, these attacks has caused significant damage. I think we all have seen these pictures taken from satellites where you see Europe in light and then you see Ukraine dark. And that reflects the enormous consequences. So there's a huge task to rebuild all of this.
Meanwhile, the United States has provided thousands of blankets to Ukraine. They have been distributed to relief centers and makeshift camps in Kyiv's train stations. So it's not only arms and ammunition that the West is providing. They realize the danger that winter poses. They are stepping up winter preparations. Meanwhile, in the face of Russia weaponizing winter, some citizens of Ukraine are still defiant.
Я б хотіла сказати, що ми без світла бачимо.
I want to say that it is clear that we will certainly defeat them. They can't break millions of Ukrainians during a blackout. I think this can only prove how strong we are and what we are ready for. We are ready to endure anything. Kiev has no water, no power, but no Russians either, which is the most important thing.
Немає руснів, це головне.
Let's now look at the term weaponizing winter. It isn't just a catchy line. Winter has historically been Russia's most effective military ally against Hitler, against Napoleon. Winter helped Russia defend itself against overwhelming odds, but this time it's different. Why do I say that? Because Russia is the aggressor, not the defender. No army is marching towards Moscow or St. Petersburg. Civilians in the Russian heartland are not facing missile strikes. Instead, it's Ukrainian civilians who can't heat up their homes or melt the frozen water or feed their children. So we ask again, is Russia weaponizing winter? Using the cold to crush Ukraine? Well, Ukraine and its allies certainly seem to think so. We've shown you what's happening on ground, so you can make up your minds. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.